Alright, this is the fastest way to install MongoDB in Windows 11 ASAP. Look up MongoDB in your favorite search engine and go to the top result that leads to the MongoDB homepage. Then in the top menu, pick Products and select Community Edition. Now click the green Download Community button. Then scroll down a bit, and here you can choose the version, operating system, and installer package. Pick the installer settings you need or leave them as is, and download the MSI downloader. Choose where to save it, and then look up the saved file and launch it. Here in the Welcome window, click Next. Then consider reading the terms, and if you agree, accept them and click Next. Now in the Setup Type window, you can choose between Complete and Custom Installation. Unless you have specific needs, go with the Complete installation. Pay attention to the note saying, the MongoDB Shell must be installed separately for Windows installations. This means you'll need to download it separately if you want to use MongoDB through the command line. Let's postpone this for a moment, we will get back to this. Now choose Complete to continue. Here in the Service Configuration window, you can see that MongoDB is set to install as a Windows service by default. This means MongoDB will start automatically when your computer boots up, so you don't have to start it manually every time. Run Service as Network Service User is the default option and is recommended unless you need specific user permissions. Run Service as a local or domain user allows you to specify a custom account, but this is usually only needed for advanced setups. The service name is set to MongoDB, and unless you want to run multiple MongoDB instances, you should leave it as is. The data directory is where MongoDB will store its databases, and the log directory is where it will save logs about its operations. If you don't have a reason to change these paths, leave them as default and click Next to continue. Now, here you can install MongoDB Compass, which is a graphical user interface that makes it easier to work with MongoDB without using command line commands. By default, the Install MongoDB Compass checkbox is selected, meaning it will be installed along with MongoDB. If you prefer working with a graphical user interface, leave this checked. If you only plan to use the command line, you can uncheck it. Since it's useful for beginners, I recommend keeping it selected and clicking Next to proceed. Finally, click Install and wait for the installation to complete. Once installation completes, MongoDB Compass will automatically launch in the background. Click Finish on the installation screen. Almost done, you still need to install MongoDB Shell. First, let's quickly look at MongoDB Compass. Click Start. Then click Add New Connection to connect to your local MongoDB server. By default, MongoDB runs on localhost with the default port 27017, so you don't need to change anything. Give it a name and click Save and Connect, and it will establish a connection to your MongoDB instance. Once connected, you'll see a list of default databases on the left panel. This confirms that MongoDB is running correctly on your system. Now let's go back and install MongoDB Shell so you can also interact with MongoDB using the command line. Open MongoDB's website back up, right back where you downloaded MongoDB. Here in the side panel, click Tools and then click MongoDB Shell. Here scroll down a bit and pick the installer settings. I will pick MSI and then Download. Save it, then look it up and run the mongosh installation file. In the Welcome window, click Next. Unless you have specific installation path needs, leave it as is and click Next, and click Install, wait for it to install, and click Finish. Now open a terminal and type mongosh and press Enter. And if you see the MongoDB Shell startup screen like this, it means MongoDB Shell is installed correctly and successfully connected to your local MongoDB instance. You should see details like the MongoDB version and the mongosh version, along with a message confirming that you're connected to MongoDB on your local machine. If you get an error, make sure MongoDB is running by restarting your system or running netstart MongoDB in an admin command prompt. That's it. MongoDB is now fully installed and ready to use on Windows 11. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.